Hi, and welcome to another edition of Shop Talk with Jim and Ken. I'm Jim.
And I'm Ken.
Yeah, hello everybody. Thanks for joining us again on this edition of Shop Talk. I've got a couple more topics we're going to cover. I've got to talk about date and time settings in the radio. And what do you have for us, Ken?
Thanks, Jim. Today I'm going to cover order tracking in the Aviat store. For whatever reason, this topic comes up quite a bit, and we've been trying to implement a little bit easier way for folks to be able to track their orders once they've placed a store order to get tracking information on the shipments. So until that easier method is available, unfortunately, you have to go through a little bit more complicated method. I'll show you how you can extract that information. So give me a second, I'll share my screen. When you first go into Aviat store, you'll see a screen like this. And if you've placed an order previous to this, then if you go to the My Store tab and pull that down, you'll see this pull down and you'll see a selection that says orders. Simply click on that button and then they'll take you to this next screen. So here you'll get a list of all the orders that you've placed, and they all have order numbers. Now, the first thing is it might not be obvious that these order numbers are clickable. So if you click on the order number, it'll that order. So if you wanted to find out the status of order number 2428117, if that was your order, I've highlighted that there. You can simply click on that number. Once you click on that number, you'll get a screen that looks like this. And here's where I have a little bit of this scrolled up, scrolled down, but to give you an idea, this was all the stuff that was in this order. It's really not important to look at what this order content was unless you want to review the bill of materials you ordered. You can. It's all here. But what I want to draw your attention to is this link that's called View Details. And you can see that here. I've highlighted it here. And that is a clickable link, and it's very obvious that it's a clickable link. So go ahead and click on View Details. Now, when you get there, you'll see that same bill of materials, and you'll see on a per line item basis a shipment number. Now you'll see the tracking number is empty. This is what we're trying to populate this information up to reports that are at higher levels. And we're working on that, but that's not working yet. So in the meantime, you want to look for the shipment number. Now you'll notice in this one, the reason I chose this particular order as an illustration is that this order actually shipped in 3 different parcels. So if you look at this shipment number column, you'll see 3 unique numbers. We see the one ending in 202, 208, and 927 as examples. And then you see some of them repeated because there were multiple items on the 202 shipment that you can see here on the screen. Anyway, if you want to know what the tracking was for any one of those, simply click on the shipment number that you're interested in seeing. And once you've clicked on that field, you'll be brought to a screen like this. And this is shipment number 202, the one that we just clicked on. And these are the items that were shipped on that shipment. And then it gives us a waybill number right here, and it gives us a ship method. This may change depending on who the carrier was. We're typically using this company called BTX for a lot of our shipments, but we might also be using UPS. We might be using Federal Express. We might be using some other third-party carrier that you've never even heard of. That's okay. All I did the first time I had to do this was I basically just went into Google and I clicked on, or I typed in BTX shipping tracker, and not even knowing what the name of that company was. And up pops BTX. I found their shipment tracker field. I typed in or I pasted in this AUS 2003 number, that thing right there. And in comes the tracking. So that seems a little bit, complex, if you will. There's a lot of steps to it, but the good news is you can get this information. So if you're an Aviat store customer and you're doing, and you want to try to track a shipment that you've been doing, all you have to do is go through that step. Basically go to the My Store, go to Orders, choose the order you're looking for, click on the number of the order, click on the shipment details. That gets you right to the page that shows you the different shipments that we've made. Usually it's only one, but sometimes it's more than one. Whatever shipment number you're looking for, click on that, and you'll see who the carrier was and what the tracking number is. You can type that into your favorite search engine and go track down your shipments, find out where they're at. So that's the great way to do that, DIY tracking, basically, for your orders. Now, we're going to make this a lot easier as time goes on, but this is the way you do it today.
Great. Thanks, Ken. Yeah, I like how you figured out how to work the system to get the information out that we needed. Even though it's not right on the main page, you can definitely dig into the details and do a little Googling and find your shipment.
Yeah, it's buried,
thanks for sharing
buried
that.
in there. I had to figure this out for myself. I get a lot of calls from customers asking, "Where's my stuff?" I say, "Well, I go find it for them, but if I can show you how to do it, it's something you can do on your own."
Exactly. Wow, thanks for sharing that tip. Well, I've got something to go over with us. A new feature in WTM in 2.9.1. There's a new time zone feature. So let me toggle over to my screen here. In 2.9.1, we have added a new time zone feature to the time settings. So if I come to any of our WTM radios, I've already upgraded these. I click on date and time. We're going to see some new options that are available to us. And some of these are going to have been in here, but we've got some options to choose. I can first choose local, so I can set the clock in the radio manually just by scrolling through the calendar here and setting it, pressing apply. But you'll notice we've got a new time zone here. And when I click on this, it gives me a scrollable list of all of the time zones around the world here. So I'm in US in the Eastern time zone, so that's what I've selected right now. So we'll go ahead and just stay on that. And once you've selected your time zone, go ahead and press commit, and that will save that. And what this does is this will then automatically shift for daylight savings time inside the radio. So if you're in a zone that recognizes daylight savings, it will then automatically be corrected and adjusted in the radio. And the reason why this is important is for twofold. One is our event log uses the internal clock to date and timestamp all the events going on. And say that you're having some sort of issues with the radio and getting slow performance, you'll want to go into your event log and look for events. And it may be bit errors or low signal strength or whatever it may be. You'll want to look at that, and then typically you compare it to the other end of the link. And having your date and time set correctly means that all your events will be synchronized. They'll be date and time stamped properly, and you can correlate events going on. Is it happening on both ends of the link, just one end of the link? So it's really important to have your date and time set correctly in all of your radios so that the event log is set correctly. The second reason why you want to have your date and time set correctly is in our licensing section. Depending on what feature you have, if it's not set at the current date and time, or for some reason your date and time gets reset, and the radio will do that. We don't have a real time clock in the radio, meaning there's no battery that continues to power it when the power is shut off. So if you have a power outage and the radio reboots, it's going to go back to its original date and time. And in some cases, I've seen that a licensed feature may disable itself if it's been licensed in the future effectively, and it gets rolled back. So from a licensing standpoint, you want to make sure that the radio is set correctly so all your features are working properly. So those are really the two main features that I wanted to show you, how to set that. Now you can set your time source for NTP if you have a network timing source on your network, or even out to the public internet. Either way, you want to choose the correct time zone as you're setting that up on the radio, and that's new in 2.9.1. Prior to that, there was no time zone concept. You just had to set it, and then daylight savings time, you had to manually adjust that. So that's it for my little tip of the day. Any closing thoughts for you, Ken?
No. I think on the NTP thing, I favor that approach, and I think that if we talk about potential power interruptions and resets of time clocks, and even just for that matter, if you're manually setting time and you're different by a couple of seconds, from one end to the other, when you're trying to end-to-end analysis, it can be really challenging to come to some definite conclusions about what's going on with an issue over a path if those times aren't synchronized pretty accurately.
Right.
So I favor the NTP approach. Obviously, whenever you have that capability, that would solve all those problems essentially. But we had customers ask us about this daylight savings time setting and local time zone stuff. So it's good to know that we've got those features built in the radio.
Right. Yep. Okay. Well, sounds good. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Shop Talk. We look forward to seeing you on the next one. Have a good day, folks.
Take care.